You are now tuned in to the GNWY podcast.
Welcome to this episode of the GNWY podcast. This is Jordan Miller, and you are now tuned into one of the best. Did you just grab my drink? Oh, I thought you grabbed mine. Let me move this over here.
We need a bigger table.
Or smaller drinks. Do not forget to like, rate, review, subscribe, do all the things so we can get people's stories out more effectively. And today we have none other than the lady, the woman, the myth, the legend. Okay, we have Danni Dixon. Everybody make some noise for Danni in the building. What's up, dude?
Hi. How's it going?
Doing well. It's great to have you on. Okay, for one, known you for a long time.
Too long.
Too long because we're too legit. Quit.
Okay, see, this is why me and you have problems, because sometimes you do a little bit too much. Just dial it back. Too legit to quit. Who sings that song?
And I do too much.
I
do too much.
Who sings the song?
I do too much.
Who does the song?
Everybody, welcome to the GNWY podcast. We are with Danni Dixon. If you could, for the people who do not know you, okay, tell the people, give us a 30-second thing of what you do and who you are.
I am Danni. I paint. And I'm awesome. I'm a mom. I paint for GNWY.
Yeah.
And I'm awesome.
You are awesome. Yes. Okay. Excellent. So for one, you've been doing this, all the creative arts for a long time. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what made you get into this whole creative arts thing?
When I was a teenager, I used to be for people who are older. Okay, see,
old.
I said older. I didn't say it was old. See, you're doing too much again.
I ask questions.
I know.
This is what I
older.
do, man.
So like back in like 2004 through 6, where like Christian rap was like a thing in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I was one of the backup dancers for one of the popular.
I didn't even know that.
Groups.
Wow. Backup dancer.
Well,
okay. So you'd be like,
yeah, the Exodus.
I know who.
Yeah.
But like, what would you be doing?
Dancing.
Like
hip hop dancing, like, you know,
right.
The clap,
Did they have choreo and stuff?
Yeah.
So it was more like hype engagement, like getting them involved.
Because it was both, a little bit of both.
Okay.
So we danced.
Tell us what the difference is
mingled.
between choreo and getting the hype involved, getting the crowd engaged.
I mean, if you're just up there just hyping the crowd up, then you're just going off of energy.
Right.
Versus choreo, that's something that you prepared to do.
Right.
Prior to getting
it's just
on the
for
stage.
the people who don't know, you know what I'm saying?
Got you.
Anyways, but yeah.
So they would do things like youth groups and stuff like that, and I started getting more involved with like kids and teenagers. Even though I was a teenager myself,
I was about to say, yeah.
I was a teenager myself, but I didn't have that growing up, so I thought it was really cool. So that just kind of stuck with me. So going forward, it's something that I always gravitate to.
That's
if
dope.
it has something to do with raising up kids and making them better and being leaders and stuff like that, like I'm in.
So you legit been doing that your whole life?
Yeah.
You've been impacting kids. Look at you.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay. Excellent.
Good and bad.
Yeah. What?
I'm just. You said my whole life.
Wait.
So
what?
So when
I'm
I was a bad influence at one, small little section of my life, and then I grew out of that. So
that's okay. Yeah.
So either way, it's impactful, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure,
that's
people
good.
remember me.
Cool.
In a good way.
Yeah. Danni, shout out to you. Impacting the world. So you're now currently painting. You okay? You collected? Okay, cool. You're painting now though, right? Mm-hmm. And you have your own business and everything. Isn't that dope? That's wild. Look at you go, entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What made you turn it into a business?
I think having kids made me want to turn it into a business, so that way I have more freedom with my kids and I have more freedom to do what it is that I want to do while taking care of my kids at the same time.
Yeah. We're kind of bouncing all over your story, low key, but how did we got involved? 2014. You already said it.
Yeah, see?
Doing school assembly stuff. Yeah, that's wild.
That seems like so long ago.
2014?
Yeah.
That's 9 years, right?
It seems...
That's a long time ago.
That is a long time ago. Yeah.
I graduated in 2015. That's insane.
I graduated in 2006.
Ooh.
I know, right?
Even worse.
You know what?
We're talking about old people now. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. How can you stay so relevant, though? It's because you're dope.
And I want to thank the kids that I have gotten a chance to interact with and hopefully impact.
Yeah, you've been all over the world, man. Talk about your stuff that you've done, man. So while you were dancing for a rap group, Exodus, right? Graduate from that. Then you get into what? You had an internship, right?
I did. It was called Hype. And basically doing not the same exact thing that GNWY does, but along the same.
School assemblies. Yeah.
School assemblies. It's kid interaction. It's using the arts to get the kids' attention and to engage with them and to still stay relevant at the same time. Yeah. So
definitely. And what was your part that you played in that?
I did everything. So we had we had comedy. It's called Stump, and you like bang on trash cans and like giant buckets and make music and
that
was
cool back in the day.
Acting.
Do you want a revolution?
What you not gonna do? Why are you like this? I'm
just kidding. It was cool.
Comedy, acting. You
rapped. You are funny.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I try.
Not really.
But then we had rapping, dancing, spoken word, poetry.
And you're dope at spoken word. Why are you not telling these people what you do?
Well, Jordan, you didn't prepare me for that.
I'm talking about you, man.
I know, but you didn't tell me that's what we're going to do.
Spoken word, you do all of the things.
I do all of the things.
Paint, spoken
word,
you dance.
I can do all of the things.
You're funny, and you speak. What can you not do?
That's a good question. Right now, I cannot drive a standard.
All right. Excellent. Cool. So yeah, you did all of those things, and you had an internship too, correct?
I did.
So you were over students there as well? Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I tried to recruit as many kids as I could, just because in the area we lived in, they kind of craved that kind of interaction. So I was in charge of getting more kids to come and going out and speaking and letting them know what we do, letting them see what it is that we do. We did a lot of outreaches that partnered with the City Rescue Mission, battered women shelters, anything that could possibly involve kids in like really rough and tough situations is where we wanted to reach out to, because I think a lot of times people forget like those kids kind of get missed because they're not out there like that, and you have other kids who are in better positions and they can get themselves out there like that.
Right.
And it's a dire need for all kids to be able to have like outlets or have people that they can depend on, talk to.
And the same opportunity.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what you look like, where you were raised, none of that. It's just really, really good resources that go all around. So
yeah, definitely. That's dope. Now thinking about your story, like all of the things, and then everything that you've done, this is all making sense. And that's even makes it more powerful of what you do. Wow.
I mean, I know, like, for me, I didn't have it. I think I had, like, one mentor lady that would, like, take me out, like, once a week, and we go eat, and she asked me how school's going. And I always tell her good. And then we part ways into the next week. But I never had anybody who actually got in depth with me and
like
what it is.
Stuff.
What I'm dealing with, or like, because growing up I didn't know I can talk about my feelings, so I just didn't. And being able to be a part of something that gives those kids a choice to have somebody that, hey, I'm having an issue, and we're out there, so they trust us in a way.
Right.
I didn't have it. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I want to be a part of something like that, so that way I can give back, even though I didn't get it growing up. But that way they don't have to deal with the same stuff I had to deal with. It doesn't matter if they're my kids or not. Like, I feel like all kids deserve a shot. And if Gen Y can give them that shot, I'm always down with it. So
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Wow. So you did all of those things with, you know, that organization, and then now, how long did that go? Actually, you traveled all over. Talk about all the places you've been.
I've been to Canada.
Talk about it. Country.
Canada is
Shout
actually.
out to Julian.
I felt the shade in your voice. Shout out to Julian, the real Canadian.
The real Canadian?
He's a real Canadian.
Because all the other ones are fake, right?
See, we're not doing that.
I'm just trying to
You're
get
being
on the
real
same
messy.
page,
You're
man.
being real messy.
That's not.
So we went to Canada, and funny story actually in Canada.
Better be.
Sorry,
go ahead.
It's low key funny, but
Okay.
not really. Okay, so if anybody doesn't know, which everybody who knows me should know, I'm terrified of like heights.
I did not know that.
I don't like planes.
For real.
But being in hype, I got on a plane all the time, so I got used to it.
Okay.
Still don't like it.
Yeah.
So we went to an Indian reservation in Canada. I cannot remember the name. I wish I did, but it was super cold when we went, and they had like these little wee planes.
Wee planes?
Wee planes. It's six.
That's
like
what
six,
they called?
6 passengers, 6 people.
It's like, because they're wee little planes?
They're not called wee planes. That's what I call them, because you
gotcha.
you feel everything. If the thing drops, just set it like you just.
That's what
it's like,
you call them.
That's what I call them.
This makes
Wee
sense.
planes.
Okay, yeah.
So sit like 6 to 10 passengers maybe, and at the time I think 20 of us went
What?
to Canada.
They had to fill that thing all the way up.
Well, the thing, you had to take trips.
Instead
and
of a wee, it was a woo boo 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 boo.
we had to take, little mini trips. So because it was really cold in the morning,
Yeah.
the runway that they had, it was made out of mud.
A driveway?
It was it was just
That's how
mud.
small the plane
But
was.
because stop.
Sorry. Yeah. It was made of mud?
It was mud.
How do you get the speed?
It was frozen because it was
Oh.
so cold. And so, the taking off is easy. It's just take off. And then we came back we
Right.
stayed where we were because we needed to go to another school to do another school assembly, except for then it was like afternoon. So then the sun came out. So the ground kind of got a little soft. So when the plane took off, it kind of fumbled a little bit. We into the trees a little bit. And then that was the only plane that took off. That they went to the next school assembly. Everybody else stayed put because at that point,
Did y'all take
it was a
equipment?
danger. Well, no.
So then what'd y'all do? Oh, you the trash cans.
They did a school assembly with no.
What did you
They
do?
didn't have. That's why it's funny. We couldn't take everything because only that one plane was able to go because it was dangerous to keep coming back.
Right.
So
Right, of course.
they did a school assembly with like 3 or 4 people.
But what did you do?
I wasn't there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That's wild.
I was waiting.
Yeah. You didn't
I
want
was
to
waiting to
ride on the
wee.
wee. Yeah.
But
wild.
apparently that was one of the best school assemblies that they did because
There's only 3 of y'all?
They had to improvise and the kids loved it. Yeah, they
That's
still
hilarious.
did everything that
That's dope.
Hype did at the time,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they had to
It's funny because
improvise.
like even whenever like I would travel with Project Elevate and stuff, like whenever we didn't have certain things, we stressing. Or even like with Gen Y, I remember one time it was 3 of us including me, and we had not like a smaller setup and everything like that, and it was the best assembly, but it was like, dang. We were nervous because we just
I
didn't
bet, yeah.
think we had everything, but yeah, we did it all. So anyway,
Do you remember? I can't remember where it was. I don't know if it was at a camp or something, but the electricity went. I was with you. The electricity went out.
in Ada
That was Ada.
or Ardmore, something like that.
It was somewhere where all the speakers went out.
Mm-hmm.
And you kept rapping. You end up having to improvise, and I think that was like the best performance I ever seen you do.
Really,
And I still have it on my phone.
that's dope.
I'm gonna send
have
it to
see
you
it. Yeah,
afterwards because, and I mean, like,
Will was there. Yeah.
Will was
remember.
there. Yeah, it was a really good show. But I think when we have to improvise, sometimes it makes us appreciate the work afterwards more, because it wasn't like we weren't prepared, and I think it means it makes it mean a little bit more than it would.
And it's also like appreciate the artistry of it, because most people would stop. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I don't
Because
know what
they
to
have
do. Right.
They have to rely on certain things and all that kind of stuff. But you're a super dope entertainer. I remember seeing Chris Brown one time, and that was whenever the tornadoes were coming. So, you know, typical Oklahoma. But everything shut off. And then this dude,
dang.
you see this dude come over and was like, you know, talking to him. He's like, tornado, you know, that type of thing. And he just kept dancing and everything. And
When
did
was
like
that?
an acapella set. It was here in Oklahoma. The Indigo tour is wild.
That's dope.
He's the dope. Yeah, dope. But like,
I like
that
when
type of
stuff having. I like when people have to improvise.
Exactly.
Not when it goes bad, but when it
right.
when it
of
works
course.
out.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so you were in Canada. Where else have you been?
We have been to Germany, and at the time they had so many military bases, so we did all the military bases, and they kind of made it a tour. And I think that was one of the first trip we went was like really weird, because they set it up like we were famous celebrities.
Well, you were.
And
you were on MTV, BET, right? All these things.
I remember I didn't like it.
Just talk about it. It's
No.
okay. we could be humble. You're dope.
No, I didn't. It was how the setup was, and like they wouldn't let me interact with the kids. Is what made me mad. They set us up at a table. It was called a place called K-Town. They set, like, after the first concert that we did, they set us up at a table so we can sign autographs.
Wow.
But we couldn't get up. I was like, but I want
like to take pictures
I wanted
or whatever.
I wanted to get up and go, but we ended up doing an encore that night, so we did the concert all
Encore.
over again.
Really?
And afterwards, I got to talk to kids.
K-Town. Where's that at? In Germany?
I think it's called Kaiserslautern. Yeah.
Okay.
So K-Town is in Germany. They had a military base. Ramstein, Mannheim,
Y'all went to
Heidelberg is
Japan
where
too,
I was
right?
born.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
I was born in Heidelberg, Germany.
For real?
So I got a
You're
chance to
German?
go back. I'm American.
I'm just like,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. But no, I was born. You didn't know that?
I didn't know. Danny doesn't sound German to me.
I was born in Germany
Sorry, I assumed.
because my parents were overachievers. Both of them were in the military at the
Oh
time.
wow,
so.
that's dope.
But yeah, I got a chance to go back to my military base
Yeah.
that I was born at. So that was interesting.
Did
All
they
of
all
those
know you there?
bases are closed down now.
Why are they closed?
That's a good question.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
rough.
I mean, that was so long ago. So who knows?
right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But I do still keep in contact with some of the kids there,
That's dope.
or that were there.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
of them have married, had kids, about to be married. I
Right,
still
right.
keep in contact with them. They're doing amazing, so that makes me happy.
Yeah.
And yes, Hype did go to Japan. They went to Belgium. I feel like I'm missing a big place. Oh, Czech.
Czechoslovakia. Wow, that's cool. That's what's up.
And those places I still have pictures of, places I'd never forget, kids that I've met that I never forgot. I battled some French guy underneath the Eiffel Tower. That was fun.
For the people who don't know, what did you battle?
Oh, dancing.
Y'all didn't Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't, just for the people who don't know.
Yeah, just dancing. And then
Yeah.
we went to. And have you ever been to Germany?
No, Danny.
I need
Yeah,
you-
we just been in the U.S.
Don't do
today.
this.
Yeah, we're gonna get out there sometime. GNWY, baby.
Don't do this. No, but like part of it, when we went, it was a culture shock because one, the whole place to me, I'm not going to speak for anybody else.
Because you're German.
Been to Germany. It is a beautiful place,
Yeah.
beautiful scenery. The hills are gorgeous. It smells like cigarettes.
Oh wow.
Everybody pretty much smokes in Germany.
Really?
But their
Even
food,
the kids?
if they can reach the counter, they're buying cigarettes along with the alcohol.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
For real.
Listen.
Wow.
they
That's what's up.
they mean business about their beer
They mean
and their
business.
nicotine. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so I remember it smelled like cigarettes and going to like the clubs and stuff like that. Their music, even though it's in German, it still sounds Like if you're not listening to it to listen to the words,
Right.
you would never know.
Wow.
So like that was the first time I experienced their music, and it was really good. And that was just the first time we went, and then the second time we went was so we can have an internship there too. So that involved getting some of the kids from the other military bases and doing the same thing that Hype did in Oklahoma in Germany.
Gotcha.
So we taught them spoken word, dance, choreo.
Y'all had an international
comedy.
team?
It was an
dope.
internship. So
Right,
it was
right,
for
right.
the time that we were there. We were like there for like a month, like close to a month. So yeah, and during
That's
that
dope.
time we did have a few places, like a few school assemblies that we did.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's dope.
the language barrier, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Really?
So like even though those kids spoke German,
Mm.
they understood what arts are. So
Right,
like it
right.
was one of those things like you
It's
didn't
a
really,
universal language, man.
yeah, you
right?
didn't really have to talk. You just had to, you know,
Point.
yeah, just do your stuff. And even though when our director would speak, they would have somebody who would,
Translate.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes like we had one of our interns be a translator, and that to me that was cool
Wow.
to get one of our kids involved like that,
Right,
so
right,
she
right.
can translate
Like a
what
peer to peer.
it,
Yeah, yeah.
It was cool.
That
And
is
then
dope.
having the kids perform the stuff that we taught them at the end
Mm.
of the internship so their parents can come and see them, that was always fun to me.
That is dope.
Because like just seeing the looks on their parents' faces, like, oh my God, my kid
I
is
didn't know you could do
amazing.
that.
I didn't know you can dance.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
now you know. Bring them
Right.
back next year.
But you said that in
Like,
like in German. That's dope.
No, because most of the kids were American. You play too
Oh,
much.
really?
They're from the military bases. So
Oh,
we
yeah,
had a
okay.
few that, you know, not snuck in, but we had a few that weren't a part of the military bases. They just heard about the internship.
right.
But for the most part, they all spoke English.
That's dope. Wow. Well, how does it you know, how does it feel for you? Because like I've seen a lot of people, you know, not only from, you know, so coming out of Hype, we went to Project Elevate, right? And now it's Generation Y. So like going through these things and stuff, like seeing, you know, some people that you've impacted and all that come back around and be like, yo, Danny, you've impacted my life, blah, 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 blah. And however old they are, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Some are
Some
like
of them are old.
30 something. Some are.
They're not there. Well, take that back. Yes, they are.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
That makes me feel older. Don't do that.
But you're not. You're literally, yeah, you're not.
You think I'm old?
No.
Okay.
Don't be pressured just because she's a guest. Anyways.
I just needed to hear it.
Yeah, you're really not. Oh my goodness. It's a joke. Anyways, but how does that feel though? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like coming back around and being like, you specifically, you know, changed my life. Because I've heard of a lot of stories, even people that are on Gen Y. They've said that you've impacted their life. Pretty wild.
Aw, tear.
Okay.
That makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing versus just doing stuff just to be doing it. Because my goal is to have a legendary impact on people.
Yeah.
Not something that, oh, you're just there for the moment and then there's no follow up with it after that. I think that's how you build stronger relationships, is you keep checking in. And I may not do it, you know, every day, every week, every month.
Right.
But I do check in on the kids that I am still friends with. I want to say kids because they're grown now. With the individuals that I'm, you know, still friends with on social media and stuff like that, and check in, watch their stories, see them growing, see them doing their own thing and still, you know, being heavily involved with things that they believe in. That stuff means a lot to me because that means whatever seed that I planted when I first met them, it actually grew into something. I don't have anything to do with what they did with the seed. I was just there to set it right there, and then after that,
Set it right there.
you got to let people
Yeah.
grow. But when you see them growing on their own like that, it motivates you. Like, it's encouraging to me. So
Yeah. That's dope. And you, in the moment, you're probably thinking like, you know, I'm just painting, or I'm just doing this, or whatever, right? But you're not really thinking like, dang, this could be impacting somebody on a deeper level.
I
right?
don't.
Because you're in the mode of like doing your thing, right? So isn't that crazy?
And
like,
it's not till afterwards if somebody says something, because I'm like, oh, thank you. Like I don't think about it.
right. It's wild. So, I just want to say I appreciate you and everything that you're doing and everything that you are, because you definitely have made an impact on a lot, and even myself. Okay, because
Are you recording this?
Don't make it more dramatic.
You got this.
Don't make it more dramatic.
You got this on camera?
I got you.
All right, cool. Turn up his mic just a little bit. Go on. Continue.
Anyways.
Oh, you're not going to elaborate on how I've changed your life?
I was about to.
Oh, okay, cool.
You don't have to make it more. Talk about. This is the person that I probably got the whole doing too much from.
Maybe.
She gets upset with me about this. You do too much, you play too much.
See?
And then you do the same thing. Danny, you do the same thing. You do the same thing.
Extra.
Anyways.
You can't do what I do.
But for real, you do, like, ever since I've met, like, you know, you, Joel, and everybody's like, those
Joel.
people, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
are like, and obviously I've been dope before, you know, but I'm just playing. But for real, like, y'all inspired me in, like, the way, because I used to want to be a motivational speaker before I even became a part of
Oh, I didn't know
PE.
that.
So Redlands Community
Look at
College,
you.
shout out to Redlands that I took algebra twice because I failed. Anyways,
I mean,
but
you didn't have to put your business out like that, but I'm going to let
sometimes
you
you got to
go.
give the
I mean,
details. The details are what describes things.
Okay.
Don't leave it out.
I won't. Never again.
So you've been leaving it out?
A little bit.
Wow. Anyways, so I was there. I saw this one dude that came in and talked for our freshman week, the welcome week or whatever. Anyways, blew my mind. I was like, this dude is hilarious. And he's performing, being really positive, all that kind of stuff. And it was like, I don't even want to be here for the school part, but I want to be here for this. I want to do that. And so then I was like, but that's really, they don't have a degree for this, blah, blah, blah. Then y'all came along. And then I was like, wow, okay.
And that's why
That's
I believe
lit.
that everything happens for a reason.
Everything does.
Everything.
Yeah.
Even the things you don't want to happen, there is always something to gain from it. So that is how I stay positive.
That's real. Yeah. Speaking of staying positive, are you able to elaborate on the condition that you have or that you had? Because
There
that
you
was
go.
a good part of your story.
It was. I have something called dissecting cellulitis of the scalp.
What a mouthful.
So, or you could say Hoffman's disease.
That's
so
not even
ba-
easier.
It's not, but just it's not a tongue twister like the first one. But I don't. Nobody knows what it is exactly.
Yeah.
But you know how? Have you ever got an ingrown hair?
An ingrown hair? Yeah, in places I don't want them.
Right.
Goodness.
You don't want them on your head either.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
bet.
what happened. Like when my hair would grow, it would grow back inside. And
Into
then,
your head.
Yes.
Wow.
And then it would get infected, and then it would do a whole bunch of stuff that caused a lot of pain to my life. So I got diagnosed in 2012, but I had symptoms like probably, I want to say 2-3 years prior to that.
Gotcha.
And then after I got diagnosed, it kind of got worse because as I start staying busy, like I get hot, sweat, all that stuff, it adds bacteria to whatever. If I had an open sore or something like that, it'll add to it. It'll cause an infection, and then I'll end up in pain or laid up for like 2 or 3 days because I can't move.
Yeah.
And so the pain, it just felt like my head was going to blow up. You ever had a migraine?
Yes. Yep.
You know how it makes your eyes kind of pulsate
Yeah.
a little bit,
Yeah.
or maybe
Feels
one
like a-
side of your head or something like that.
Feels
That's
like
what
an EDM concert. Yeah.
that is a great way to describe it. That's what my whole head will feel like.
Dang.
So eventually I got to the point to where like I was on pain meds, and even though those weren't working, I tried alternative methods, and then in the process it kind of eased the symptoms and helped it. Like I had to change my like my work environment. Like if I was I couldn't be too physical or too active because sweating was like my Achilles heel, if you will. So anything to prevent sweating. And even when I would do like my little small workouts, I couldn't do it for a long period of time
And you
because
legit couldn't even dance, right?
I would
That's
have to
crazy.
take multiple breaks because
Yeah.
my head would just start hurting.
Right.
So once I changed some of the things that I ate. I changed my activity, how long I did stuff. I changed my job because stress actually triggers it too. So if I'm stressed out about anything, it's not helping.
Yeah.
So I had to eventually get to a point to where I can manage my own symptoms without having to be like on a whole bunch of pain medication.
And could they find out like what like causes it or anything? It just started happening.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So, I mean, and one of the statistics is that it usually happens in African American males. Most of the time, it's African American males, or just men in general. Wow. So, being a female with it was a little different because they don't know if hormones can affect it, if pregnancy can affect it, stuff like that. Right, so it's kind of unknown territory. Yeah. And one of the things that my boyfriend at the time, well, he's still my boyfriend now, but he did research for me because I never thought to, maybe I should figure out all the things that I can do. I would just do like what the doctors would suggest. Right. And so he looked up certain things that I can do, and he started helping me manage it and get better at it. And so then after I started doing things a little different, the symptoms started going away. So I actually have been pain-free since, I want to say 2018.
Let's go. Wow.
I did get one infection when I was pregnant, but it went away quickly. Yeah. And so
can you describe it for the people that like are, so as a visual, like your hair could not grow outward, right? Or
no, well, it grew. It's just there would be some places in my head where I was prone to ingrown hair. So it would grow back in, and then I didn't know that was what it was for years. Yeah. So, and by the time that I was able to start manage it, it had already done damage. So I have bald patches on my scalp. There's still places that's a little tender. It's scarred up pretty bad. I have posted pictures with me with no wig on. Right. And so that wasn't like it took me a minute. It was
knock at the door. Yeah.
It took me a minute to, I guess, build up that courage in order to, because I mean, when you're a woman, you got hair.
And you're like in front of the world.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to be up there with no hair, Hey man, trauma. That's trauma. That's rough. But I'm just saying, it's a real thing. Right. But the first time I posted a picture of my bald headedness, I got so many messages saying thank you for being brave, and and I didn't think of it. I did it because I needed to stop sitting in my home crying and upset that I'm bald now. I had to accept my new life. And so for that to happen, I had to, in my way, it was my way to release it. So I'm like, okay, instead of sitting in silence about it, maybe I could put it out there and help somebody else. So after that, it just kind of, I'm like, okay, if it's helping other people too, why not? So I started talking about my condition and posting about it. And I was like, people are probably going to get tired. But I also had people who end up having the same symptoms that I would talk about. Really? I had like 2 people who went and got tested, and they end up having what I was talking about, and they didn't know. And the only way they found out about it is because of my post.
You
so
brought some awareness to it.
I did.
That's dope.
I did.
So there's a twofold part to this whole thing. So like even before, I didn't know that you had this condition, and you were like, moving around, dancing around, telling your other story, right? And I was like, this is dope. And then I found out that you had, this condition. I was like, wait a second. You've been doing all this stuff in pain and nobody knew about it. Hey. Which makes like this whole thing like even more impactful, dude. I was like, I sat there because I was like, other people were like, oh wow, I didn't know, blah blah. And I was like, but you don't realize also what she been doing. You know what I'm saying? At the same time. And I was like, I was blown away, dude. And so I'm mad respect for you. I
don't like negative, bad.
You're not a big complainer.
I like that so like you. That's in why order. You're still around. Well, thank you. I'm just playing. Guess I can't complain or I'm out the door.
Remember that.
Oh, okay. Let me write that down. I'm just kidding. But no, I don't like, dwelling on something. I don't have any control over it. So right. I was upset, I was hurt. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be single for the rest of my life.
No way.
But no, that was one of the thoughts that I thought. Or
Right.
like, you know, it was like a self-esteem type of thing. And it wasn't that I had a low self-esteem, but this was just one of the things that I was insecure about. But I was openly insecure about it. So it wasn't like, oh, we didn't know.
Right.
Like everybody knew it's a thing that I dealt with. And
Yeah.
I don't like sitting in that for longer than I need to, because then you start feeding on that
Right.
energy, and I rather just pretend like it's not there.
Right.
Mind over matter.
Mind over matter. Look at you go.
It didn't always happen though, I'll tell you that.
But like, so that's the first. That's the first fold of it. I said that there's two parts. So the second part is, you know what I'm saying? Whenever you actually came out and changed your story, and then did it pop in your eye? You were like that. I was like, are you
I thought it was
okay?
going to, because I saw it come out of the can. You know what?
Anyway, right. So I saw, you know what I'm saying? And then I saw the change in your story, man. And then whenever you talk to these girls about identity and everything like that, I was like, oh gosh. I thought she was impactful before, and then now it's like, poof. And then, so yeah, I was like, this is so dope. You know what I'm saying? The 2-part thing. I saw you then and then saw you now. And then I'm like, yeah. And so, yeah, it's super dope, man.
And I'm still living in remission, and I'm hoping it stays that way.
Yeah, let's go.
From hospital bills.
Of course. Yeah. Definitely.
they rack up.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think that, you know what I'm saying, how you were able to change your story. And you're a good, you know, I mean, also freestyler and, you know, rapping and stuff, but also freestyling and like, you know, going with the flow of like whenever you're speaking and stuff. Like you can sense like, you know, what the crowd is going through, you're implementing stuff, and, you know, you're really good at crowd control. So
you got to read the room.
Read the room, man. Read the room. I love it. So anyway, where are you at now? We're gonna go ahead and just end on your business and everything you're doing now. So what do you have with your whole painting thing? You do classes?
I am actually looking into doing classes. I do have people who ask me to do like paint parties.
Yeah.
And so I do that, but that's not something that I advertise that I do.
Right.
It's more of a word of mouth. Like if you want me to come in, like that's fine. Like I love doing paint parties. I like watching people create what I created, but differently.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like that. They want their painting to look exactly like, and I'm like, that's not what art is. So like it's expression. So you make it your own. So I love doing paint parties. I do, I mostly do custom work. So if somebody tells me they want a portrait or they want like a certain picture of something, and I'll paint it for them. And what I want to focus on this year would be doing murals for schools. So because that is a very fun job to do. Yeah. And also to see the kids' reaction when they see the artwork in their school makes me really happy.
What was it? Crutcho?
Crutcho.
Yeah. And you did one over there, right? You did like a whole hallway.
I did like 2 hallways.
Oh wow! I didn't. See
I made one hallway into a giant aquarium.
Right.
And then I did it kind of wrapped around, and so I did the next hallway.
Dope. Yeah.
So,
how long did that take?
I had, thank God, I had some help. Her name is Aaliyah. So she came and she did the aquarium with me. Yeah. And it took, I want to say that project took like 2 weeks to do the first hallway, and then they added on the corner, and then after that they added on like the other hallway behind it. So altogether I think it took like 2 months. Damn. Because of the adding, and I had to like work it in my schedule at the time. And so I also ended up getting sick, and I ended up getting COVID, and so that made it go.
Good now?
That was in 2020.
I just want to make sure stuff lingers.
It's a long time ago. It does. Yeah. Are you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay, then we're both good.
No vaccine, still rocking it raw, you know? You know what I'm talking about.
It's the energy drink.
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good now.
Excellent. That's super dope. We should advertise that for GNWY then. That you should.
Yes.
That you want to do schools.
Yes, I would love to do schools, and
that's fire.
That would be really exciting.
Yeah. Excellent. All right.
You threw me off. I'm not.
If you want GNWY and Danny to come do a mural at your school, hit us up, man. Get your hallways lit up.
Yeah. Because
You remember what? I can't remember what school it was. A Tiger. We just went there. Where was it at? Audience. Was it Chakotah? No, Canton.
Canton.
They
It
still
was
had
Canton.
they still had your painting from 3 years ago.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
the tiger one that I did.
Yeah,
With
the
yeah.
blinging eye.
Yeah,
eyes.
that was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah,
That was one of my
it's still
favorite
there.
ones.
They got it hanging up.
Hey.
Yeah, if
That's
people
exciting.
touched it, they go to detention. I'm just kidding. I made that up. But
I mean, you should have just kept the I'm kidding
I
out
should.
because let me be
Wouldn't
lit
that have
for a
been
second.
dope?
Like, oh, y'all can't touch. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
we should go back in like a couple more years and see if it's still there, and you can take a picture with it.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, dope.
In the other schools,
Yeah, exactly.
those are fun to do.
Danny, I really appreciate you coming through, man. You got a lot more story to tell, and we should have you on for another one. So you feel good about that?
Yeah.
Excellent. So tell the people right here where they can follow you at, and then give them a one line or something that you live by. Thanks. Look here.
You get on my nerve. You guys can follow me at I Create Art on all social media
With
platforms.
2 eyes.
With 2 eyes, not 1 but 2. And don't pronounce it I Create Art, because really, okay. I create art
Yeah.
at everything. Okay, it's the same thing. And then something that I live by.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason.
That's good.
Everything,
That's good.
all things, happen for a reason.
That's good.
It
That's
is.
good. Danny, thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate
welcome.
you. If you could, don't forget to like, rate, review, subscribe, do all the things so we can be able to get Danny's story out more effectively. Thank you all so much for coming through, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Peace.